Hi, I'm Craig Schaal, technical agronomist for DeKalb Asgrow in Colorado.
And I'm Micah Seyler, district sales manager for DeKalb and Asgrow in Colorado. And we are the Corn Profit Prophets.
We're here to give you agronomic tips and tidbits to help you maximize your production
and maximize your profits.
You follow these tips, you too can become a Corn Profit Prophet. Hello, this is Craig Schaal, technical agronomist in Colorado. Hey, I'm here to talk about our wet spring we're having here in 2015. Although it's been great for this wheat, it's creating some frustrations for some of the customers and farmers in the area. A couple things I want you to consider during this planting window as it's shrinking is GDUs, the black layer. So a lot of calls coming in around, should I shorten maturities? Some things I want you to consider around that decision are corn has an inherent ability to make up 100 to 150 GDUs with late planted corn. And so therefore you can probably shrink 100 to 150 GDUs off your historical frost dates. The other thing is we tend to see higher yields at a longer season maturities is the trend. And so if you shorten your maturities by 10 days, a lot of things we talk about in this business is yield for maturity. So although you have 105, 110 day that hasn't been planted quite yet, you still may be better off driving production with that maturity than you will be shortened to a 95-day crop. The other thing I want you to consider is planting a mixture of products with GDUs, the black layer, long season and short season is still going to help you mitigate your risk this summer for weather events. So we never know what Mother Nature is going to bring to us out here, and having that kind of diversity on your farm is still in your favor. Once planting conditions begin to look like they're getting ready to happen, three things I really want you to consider, three main points. First point is, as you pull into that planter pass, consider if it's too wet or not. And if it's too wet, one of the things that'll happen is your gauge wheels will start building up mud or soil on them. And what that does is it shallows up your seeding depth. A lot of guys may be running some fertilizer openers in front of that gauge wheel, and you'll see mud beginning to build up, and that creates some seeding depth problems. And remember, we really want that corn depth no minimum than 1.5 inches, and most of the time we're trying to find a 2-inch target for that seed depth. The second point I'll make is make sure your seed slice gets closed correctly. So as we have a tendency to plant in wet conditions, you'll see that seed slice looks closed, but it has a tendency to bake open with some of the heat that we're going to experience eventually. And what that creates is some vulnerability of that seedling to post-emergent herbicides, insecticides, insects, pests in general. And so we want to make sure that seed slice gets closed. Part of the reason that seed slice bakes open is when we plant in wet conditions, that true V opener tends to smear the soil. And you'll see some sidewall compaction or sidewall smear that creates some challenges for your corn plant to grow its roots correctly. And so planting into wet conditions can create depth gauge wheel buildup, sidewall smear, and seed slice opening. So if you need to wait an extra day or two, utilize some of the technology these planters have on them these days with auto steer, or maybe run a few hours later to cover a few more acres in better conditions. That's what I would recommend for you to do. Hey, you follow these tidbits and agronomic advice, you too can become a Corn Profit Prophet.